Imagine you're hiking through the forests of northern Minnesota. It's late afternoon. The trail is quiet. Your phone has no signal. You stop for a drink of water, and somewhere deep in the trees, you hear someone call your name. It sounds exactly like your friend. The problem is, your friend is standing right beside you. For years, stories of the Wendigo have terrified people across North America. But what if it wasn't just a legend? What if tomorrow, wildlife cameras, park rangers, and eventually the entire world confirmed that something matching the Wendigo really existed? How would governments respond? Could scientists explain it? Would our forests ever be safe again? And could humanity actually stop it? Before we answer that, we need to clear up one of the biggest misconceptions on the internet. When most people hear the word Wendigo, they picture a towering creature with a deer skull, giant antlers, and glowing eyes. Ironically, that's largely a modern horror creation. In the traditional beliefs of several Algonquian-speaking indigenous peoples, including the Ojibwe, Cree, and Innu, the Wendigo is generally described as a malevolent spirit or transformed being associated with insatiable hunger, winter, greed, and cannibalism. Descriptions vary between communities, but the now famous deer skull appearance is largely a recent addition from horror fiction rather than traditional accounts. Out of respect for those traditions, this video isn't claiming the original stories described an antlered monster. Instead, let's pretend. Suppose the modern version, the one millions recognize from games, movies, and internet horror, actually existed. A 12-foot predator, faster than any human, highly intelligent, able to mimic voices, perfectly adapted to surviving in the deep forests of North America. Here's what would probably happen. At first, nobody believes it. A backpacker disappears in northern Ontario. Search and rescue teams just assume he got lost. A week later, another hiker vanishes in northern Minnesota, then a hunting guide in Montana. Missing people in wilderness areas aren't unusual. Thousands are reported every year. Most are eventually found, so nothing immediately stands out until a trail camera captures something impossible. At 2:14 in the morning, a massive humanoid figure walks between the trees. It's impossibly thin, nearly twice the height of a man. Its movements are unnervingly smooth. It pauses, looks directly into the camera, then disappears into the darkness. The footage is uploaded online. Within hours, millions view it. Most dismiss it as AI or just another internet hoax. Then, 3 more cameras, hundreds of miles apart, capture the same creature. Different forests, different dates, the same impossible silhouette. Now, wildlife officials begin paying attention. Everything changes when the first survivor returns. A park ranger is found, wandering along a remote logging road. He's dehydrated, suffering from hypothermia, and clearly in shock. When investigators ask what happened, his story sounds impossible. He says he heard another ranger calling for help. He followed the voice, but something wasn't right. The voice kept coming from farther away, always just out of sight. Then he saw it, a towering figure standing between the trees, watching, not charging, not growling, just watching. He ran. His partner didn't. Search teams recover the campsite. They find overturned equipment, deep claw marks carved into tree trunks, and blood, but no body. Officials initially suspect a bear attack, until forensic teams discover something strange. The spacing between the footprints, the stride length, the height implied by broken branches nearly 11 feet above the ground. None of it matches any known North American animal. At first, authorities avoid using the word monster. Public statements refer only to an unidentified, dangerous animal. Several national parks temporarily close under the explanation of ongoing wildlife investigations. Extra rangers are deployed. Drones begin flying over remote forests. Helicopters equipped with thermal imaging search vast wilderness areas. Biologists, wildlife experts, and federal agencies are brought together. The initial theory is surprisingly reasonable. Perhaps an undiscovered species of large predator. After all, new species are still discovered every year. But that explanation begins falling apart almost immediately. Because whatever this creature is, it doesn't behave like any predator scientists have ever studied. It avoids obvious traps, changes hunting grounds before search teams arrive, and perhaps most unsettling of all, it never attacks large groups. Only individuals, almost as if it understands exactly how humans think. Within weeks, the world's leading wildlife biologists, geneticists, and zoologists arrive trying to figure out what this thing is. Hair samples are collected, footprints are cast, thermal drone footage is analyzed frame by frame. At first, some researchers believe they're dealing with an undiscovered species of great ape. Others suggest an unusually large bear suffering from disease. But every new piece of evidence creates more questions than answers. The footprints resemble a human's, yet they're nearly twice the size. The creature moves on 2 legs, but can sprint faster than any Olympic athlete. Infrared cameras show a body temperature lower than expected for a large mammal. It doesn't appear to migrate, nor establish a permanent territory. And despite hundreds of drones, trial cameras, and satellites constantly photographing Earth's surface, only a handful of clear images are ever captured, almost as if it knows when it's being watched. The biggest mystery, however, is its intelligence. Every attempt to trap it fails. It avoids bait, changes its route after drones fly overhead, and repeatedly circles around search teams instead of running away. Scientists eventually reach an uncomfortable conclusion. This isn't behaving like prey, or even like a predator. It's behaving like something that's studying us. The discovery of a real Wendigo doesn't end life as we know it, but it permanently changes how people view the wilderness. National parks across North America temporarily close sections of remote backcountry, while authorities assess the risk. Attendance drops dramatically. Camping reservations plummet. Backcountry hiking becomes something many families simply stop doing. Parents teach children a new rule: never hike alone, never leave marked trails, never investigate voices in the woods. Outdoor equipment companies begin selling emergency satellite communicators as standard gear. Park rangers receive specialized training. Trailheads display new warning signs. Report suspicious activity immediately. Do not travel after dark. Communities near large forests begin organizing volunteer patrols. Hunters carry radios instead of relying solely on cell phones. For the first time in generations, the wilderness feels truly wild again. Not because of wolves or bears, but because something unknown may be watching from beyond the trees. Eventually, governments decide observation isn't enough. Specialized teams are assembled: wildlife experts, military reconnaissance units, tracking dogs, helicopters equipped with thermal imaging. Even experienced indigenous trackers are consulted for their deep knowledge of the landscape, while recognizing that the fictional monster in this scenario is separate from traditional teachings. The operation becomes one of the largest wildlife searches ever attempted. Yet month after month, nothing. Not because the Wendigo is invisible, because the forests are unimaginably vast. Canada alone contains hundreds of millions of hectares of forest. Even with aircraft overhead, most of that wilderness remains empty of people on any given day. Search teams eventually realize the Wendigo doesn't defend territory, it just leaves, way before they arrive. By the time helicopters reach a reported sighting, it's already gone. Can humanity win? Yes. But not in the way most people imagine. Not by sending in the US military to every forest in the region, trying to find and kill them, but by containment and deterrence. If only one, or a very small number, of Wendigos exist, humanity has enormous advantages. Satellites, aircraft, drones, thermal imaging, DNA analysis, global communication. Eventually, patterns begin to emerge. The creature almost never enters densely populated areas. It avoids highways, bright lights, large groups. Its greatest weapon isn't strength, it's isolation. Once people understand that, attacks become increasingly rare, not because the Wendigo has disappeared, but because humans stop giving it opportunities. Would you swim in the Nile River? No, because there's crocodiles, hippos, diseases, and all sorts of other things. The same applies with the Wendigo. So what if the Wendigo were real? Humanity wouldn't abandon civilization, cities wouldn't fall, the world wouldn't end. But one thing would change forever: our relationship with the wilderness. For centuries, we've explored forests, believing that humans sit comfortably at the top of the food chain. The discovery of a creature smarter than any known predator would challenge that belief overnight. Because the scariest part wouldn't be knowing it exists. It would be knowing there are still millions of acres of dense forest where no cameras watch. So the next time you're hiking and you hear someone calling your name from somewhere deep in the trees, you might want to make sure everyone in your group is still standing beside you.